This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Luca Celebre, and this is Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And yesterday we talked about what the playoffs would look like in the East if we started today. So today we're looking at the West, and it's a lot clearer when it comes to the Canadian teams. As it stands, the Jets and Oilers are the only Western Canadian teams in the postseason. Winnipeg is still in first in the Central, while Edmonton's in third in the Pacific. And Calgary and Vancouver are pretty far out of it, but not quite. So let's start with the Oilers, because if the playoffs started today, it's a matchup we've seen for 3 years in a row against the Kings. At this point, with 7 games left, there's a chance that the Kings can still win the Pacific, as they're only 3 points back of Vegas. But if they don't, there's also a chance the Oilers pass them for second and get home ice in their potential matchup. And what's crazy is these two teams meet 2 more times before the season ends, starting tomorrow night. And if we do get this first round matchup, it'll probably be a long one, because in 2 of the 3 previous postseason matchups, the series has gone 6 or more games. Now to the Jets, and it's looking like a Minnesota-Winnipeg first-round matchup, which I guess is a geographical rivalry as well. But that could change pretty quickly, given the Wild are just 2 points back of the Blues in the West wildcard race. But if it does stay that way, Winnipeg fans should be thrilled. They're 3-0 against the Wild this season, and have outscored them 11-2. That's pure domination. But if it's the Blues or even the Avs in the first round, the Jets should still be favored, thanks to a combined record of 8-2 against those 3 opponents this season. Although the Blues have won 11 straight, so does anyone really want to get them right now? As for the non-Canadian matchups in the West, Vegas-St. Louis is fine, but my god, that Dallas-Colorado series will be fireworks and I will not survive it. This is the storybook matchup, but it's also crappy because these are the 2nd and 4th place team in the West by just points, so it's just like one of the top 5 teams is out in the first round because of this dumb playoff format. Great. With just 7 games to go in the NHL season for Alex Ovechkin and the Caps, and him just 3 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky for the all-time goal record, it's got many of us thinking. It's not a matter of if he does it this season, but when and how. So we thought we'd ask a group of guys on their own magical run this year. Yeah, the Bar Down team. So guys, if you're Ovi and you've got the chance to break the record with an empty netter, how are you feeling?
If I'm Alex Ovechkin, of course I don't want to break the record with an empty net goal.
Guys, there's no way Ovi scores an empty netter. Do you know how many times this goal is going to be shown everywhere for decades?
If I'm Ovi, I'm scoring the empty netter, and I know it sucks that that is going to be the highlight that's played year after year after year, but if you think about it, there's no bigger chance that the sun rises tomorrow than the chance that it doesn't rise tomorrow.
Absolutely. If the opportunity presents itself, you have to take that. You have to take that shot.
He scored so many goals not in an empty net. It would just be more fitting if he actually buried one middle of a game. With that said, if he has an open net, is he just going to pass it off? I don't think so.
And also, how sick of a clip would it be to watch Ovi coming in, empty net, pass it off? Electric.
There's no guarantee that he's ever going to get the chance to break the record again. Who knows what could happen? Aliens could invade Earth over the offseason, and there's no NHL next year. Maybe the NHL makes a rule that allows goalies to wear equipment that's 30 times bigger, and Ovi just forgets how to score and doesn't know how to score on this new equipment. Ovi, if you have the empty netter, rip that thing in with authority, buddy.
The Washington Capitals have lost 4 of their last 5 games. They need to get whatever goals they can get right now. They need to win whatever games they can win. Although, I want to see him from his office, sidewall on the power play. Bang!
And you're telling me Jesse couldn't choose a side in this? He took both sides? Man, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Well, Marc-Andre Fleury came out earlier this week and said, like, no goalie wants to be the one to give that up. So knowing that, like, if I'm Ovi, I don't want the thing that's being replayed for decades and decades and decades to be an empty net goal. It just seems so anticlimactic, and especially if this is not going to be his last regular season game, you don't have to do it this season then. Wait for a goalie to be in the net. It just makes the most sense for the moment and the impact of it. And speaking of my Bar Down teammates, our Road to Glory series returns today as we push for a championship. To watch it, go to Bar Down's YouTube, or if you're watching on Insta, just click the link below. Time now for Upset Moments presented by Under Armour. And we're just 1 day away from the Final Four. Just the second Final Four in history with 4 number 1 seeds. As Marissa told you earlier this week, the only other time that happened was 2008, in a Final Four that featured 3 top 5 picks. The favorite going into this weekend amongst the 1 seeds, though, is Duke. And they're absolutely crushing the opposition in this tournament, with an average margin of victory of 23 points. And it all starts with the lock to be the first overall pick in this year's draft, Cooper Flagg. We've been talking about him all tourney. And with someone that came into the tournament with this kind of hype, it's crazy to say he's actually exceeded it. But it's not just him. His teammates Con Knipple and Common Malawatch are also having great tournaments, and they'll join Flagg as lottery picks in the draft. But standing in Duke's way Saturday night is an unreal Houston Cougars team, a team that hasn't lost since February 1st in an OT thriller to Texas Tech. And this is also a chance for Houston to exact some revenge, as they lost to Duke in the Elite Eight last year. A 3-point loss that probably goes Houston's way if current Raptor Jamal Shead doesn't get injured. In the other semi, we've got a clash of 2 SEC juggernauts between Florida and Auburn. A rematch of a February game that saw Florida win. You can watch the Final Four Saturday on TSN. It all starts at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with Florida and Auburn. And after that, it's Duke and Houston. Now joined by our racing guy, Tim Hraney. Great to see you, Tim.
Hey, Luca, thanks very much for having me.
Okay, Tim, the hottest seat in all of F1 might be the one in the Red Bull car alongside Max Verstappen. And this weekend, Yuki Tsunoda will be the 5th Max Verstappen teammate since 2019. Tim, is it hard to be a teammate of Verstappen, and if so, why?
Yeah, I mean, Max has a particular driving style. Not a lot of other drivers on the grid can really mimic what he does. He likes a front positive car, so he likes there to be a lot of grip on the front tires when he's trying to get the car into the corner. Now, what that does is sometimes it allows the rear of the car to become a little light and move around in that turning phase, as I like to call it, into the actual corner. And not a lot of drivers get really comfortable with that and can really control it. And so Red Bull Racing has designed their car essentially around what Max does. Now, this season's car, it's not really the greatest, and that's one of the reasons why they made that swap for Liam Lawson to Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki has a lot more experience, and I think can really help this team develop this RB21, this year's Red Bull Racing machine. He can help develop that car out a little bit more than what Liam could probably do.
Okay, Tim, do you think this move actually helps Max and Red Bull this weekend?
I mean, so far so good. Number one, the car doesn't look all too quick out there compared to how it used to be at Suzuka in years past. Red Bull used to have a really great car here, but for this weekend, it just looks like it's struggling. However, Yuki actually looked pretty solid in free practice 1. He's much closer than what Liam Lawson has been over the past 2 races. Yuki was about 1/10 off in free practice 1. However, things changed in free practice 2. The balance of the car went away from Yuki. There wasn't a lot of on-track running because of all of the red flags. But I see free practice 1 as a good starting point for Yuki, because that had to be a session where he needed the track time to really learn and try to understand the nuances with this car as much as possible. So, in my opinion, I think Yuki's off to a pretty good start so far.
Tim Hraney, a pleasure as always.
All right, thanks very much for having me, Luca. Really appreciate it, and thanks to producer Chris as well.
You can watch the Japanese Grand Prix late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. On the East Coast, it's 12:55 a.m. Sunday morning. And those of you out west, you get the joy of a 9:55 p.m. Pacific Saturday night start time. That's all from me today. Marissa will be back Monday. Have a great weekend.